Today we'll move on to part 2 of frequency adverbs. 今日は頻度副詞の2番目の勉強をします。In this lesson, compared to the beginner's frequency adverb lesson, we've added a few more frequency adverbs. So, new frequency adverbs we have this time are almost always, frequently, occasionally, or some new frequency adverbs in this lesson. Always is 100%. And not ever and never is 0%. 今日の頻度副詞のリストの中に、beginner のレッスンより almost always, frequently, occasionally, hardly ever, almost never の頻度副詞を増やしました。で、always は 100% で、not ever が 0% ですね。で、この頻度副詞はこの少ないより多くなるんですね。でも、この頻度副詞は、always と not ever, never は 100%、0%。それ以外は、ちょうどじゃないんですね。ぐらい。感じですね。So, always is 100% and not ever, never is 0%. But the other frequency adverbs are not exactly, about this much. So we can say almost always is, I would say 95%. Usually 90%. Often 70%. Frequently 60%. Sometimes it's a bit special. Sometimes has quite a range in English. It has quite a range of occurrence, or how many times something happens. It's quite a range for sometimes. I would say sometimes is perhaps 30% to 60%. And 0% is not ever, never. Almost never is maybe 1 to 2%. Hardly ever is 3%. Rarely 5%. Seldom. Occasionally would be maybe 20, 30%. About. Many people have different opinions on this, but this is approximately the amount of occurrence for each frequency adverb. 人によって違うけど、このぐらいですね。Not ever, never は0, almost never は1か 2%、とても少ない。で、hardly ever, rarely, seldom, occasionally, sometimes はその幅が広い。Sometimes は 30% から 60% ぐらいですね。And frequently, often, usually, almost ever です。このぐらいですね。ちょうどじゃないですね。always と not ever はちょうど。not ever, never は 0% ですね。always は 100%。この中はちょうどじゃないんですね。And looking at the frequency adverbs, we can see there's a bracket from usually to occasionally. These frequency adverbs we can use at the beginning and end of sentences. With the frequency adverbs, we use these frequency adverbs before a general verb or a regular verb, and we use them after a be verb, as I explained previously. These idioms can also be used in the beginning of the sentence and in the end of the sentence as well, as the usual position. この frequency adverb のリストの中の usually, often, frequently, generally, sometimes, occasionally はいつものB動詞の後、一般動詞の前の上に文章の前と文章の後ろにも使えるんですね。And looking at the blue adverbs, these adverbs are affirmative adverbs. Affirmative adverbs we can use in a negative or affirmative sentence. The blue adverbs are negative adverbs, so they cannot be used in negative sentences. この頻度副詞は肯定の頻度副詞なので、肯定の文章と否定の文章にも使えるんですね。Seldom, rarely, hardly ever, almost never, not ever, and never は否定の頻度副詞なので、否定の文章には使わない。もう否定してやるので、肯定の文章に入れてももう否定の意味があるんですね。So these are affirmative adverbs and these are negative adverbs. 肯定の頻度副詞と否定の頻度副詞ですね。